All right. Well, hello everyone, and to those who may be watching this or in the future, I am so excited. This is the first Expat Relocation Guide live stream. I have two very special guests, and this is Paul and Sue.
Hello.
And before we get started, I just want to give a chance to people to join on and tell me in the comments where you're from. Where are you watching us from? And yeah, just tell us where you're saying hello from. We have a few people on here. Tell us where you're from, you guys. So Sue and Paul are in Huatulco, Oaxaca. Which you can see by their backdrop is a beautiful area. That's their backyard. All right, we got a few likes and a few hearts. So I'm just going to give people a chance to jump on, but go ahead and tell us where you're from. San Antonio, right on. Central Florida.
Go Texas.
Go Texas,
Go
yeah. Central Florida. Hello, Anthony. Hi, Diana. Canada. Ooh, it must be really cold in Canada right now. I bet you're wishing that you were on the beach. Very cool. It's nice to say hello to the people that are joining on. And so I'll go ahead and get started. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Mariana, and I am with Expat Relocation Guide. My husband and I started this Facebook page and this website to give you guys useful tips and information on how to move to Mexico the right way. And in today's live stream, I have Sue and Paul who live in Huatulco, Oaxaca, which is on the beach. And I asked them to join this live stream so that they could share their experience as to what it's like to live there, why they like it there, and just their everyday life. And hopefully that gives you guys who are watching and interested in living in Mexico some insight, especially if you're interested in the Oaxaca Bay Area, what it's like to live there. So having said that, I want to let Sue and Paul introduce themselves.
Go ahead.
My name is Sue Lozer. We originally from Texas. My husband Paul. We moved here in August of last year.
Awesome. So Sue and Paul, tell us a little bit about where you live. Tell us, I know I've mentioned it's Huatulco, but tell me a little bit more about, your community where you live.
Huatulco is a small town. I think it's about 50,000 in this entire area, and it's fairly isolated. So there's no big towns around to go shopping. We rely a lot on Amazon for our shopping, but we like it because it's quiet. It's also a cruise port, so that's the town is really geared to tourism. So it's kept very clean and very neat and safe, extremely safe.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, Paul, maybe you can give us some insight as to what made you move to Huatulco.
Well, we had originally, I spent 3 years in Panama when I was in the military, and we went back a couple of times and visited, and then we took a tour down there. We had pretty much convinced ourselves that we were going to move to Panama. And we retired in March, and 5 days after we retired, they had the lockdown, and Panama was locked down pretty tight. So in our conference calls about Panama, there was a gentleman that mentioned Huatulco. And so we thought, well, let's just check it out, because we can go to Mexico. We can't go to Panama because of the lockdown. So we came here for a few days, fell in love with it, fell in love with the people. Everybody here is so friendly. The food is great. There's always something to do. So, we went back to the States and sold everything we had. And 4 days later, we were back here and haven't left. So
Wow, so you sold everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
here. People ask us how long we're here, and we say till we die.
You're all in. There's no going back.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's great. Tell us a little bit more about the food. I'm very interested in knowing what your experience has been with Oaxacan food.
It's all whole foods, and this area was developed, like I said, as in tourism, but also to be healthy, green. There's people exercise all the time. The place we did live was near the beach, along the beach, and there was a steady stream of people headed to the beach every day to walk and run and take their dogs, and I'm talking locals, not the tourists. And the food is all whole foods. Everything is low sodium, low sugar. It's just, I mean, we've lost a lot of weight, and we're not dieting. Just everything is so much more healthy here than where we were.
That's awesome.
We've
You're
also
not even
found-
trying to lose weight.
Right.
We've also found that there's lots of other nationalities that have moved here. There's Italian restaurants. So you have a mix in that restaurant of Mexican food and Italian food and German food. And, you know, there's all these other people that are here permanently. And so they've started their own restaurants. And, you know, there's nothing here you can't find as far as food.
Yeah, there's not like you feel like it's only Mexican food that you can eat there.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of choices.
Yeah. Not to mention how cheap it is. I mean, we you know, first things we did when we got here, we was texting our friends and saying that, you know, where can you go to a beach and sit and watch the ocean and pay 91 cents for a beer and, you know, $3 for a full course meal. So
Wow.
yeah, it's
that's
unbelievable.
the dream. So not only have you
rarely-
lost weight, you've gained some more money in your bottom line in your bank.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So do you guys work or are you fully retired?
Fully retired.
Okay. So it's really important for you also to, I'm assuming, I don't know, is it important for you to also kind of watch your bottom line? And
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we can afford to live here, and we're not even drawing Social Security yet. So I have a teacher retirement. We're pretty much living on my teacher retirement because we haven't started drawing our Social Security. And we have this with a beach view and an ocean view. So it's so much cheaper to live here. We could never live this lifestyle in the States at all.
Yeah. Tell me a little, so you mentioned earlier, like the community, the people, like everything about it has been really great. What's been your experience making friends?
Oh, it's easy. You sit at a restaurant and everybody starts talking to each other. You know, sometimes there's the communication barrier because we don't speak Spanish. Sue's done a great job learning, but, you know, we're nowhere near where we need to be. But you use your translator on your phone and you can carry on conversations and you figure everything out. And, you know, it's always, you know, people say, oh, well, come over to my place and, you know, let's play some dominoes or let's go hang out at the beach and whatever. It's very easy to have friends and companions here.
Well, and there's Facebook groups in this area, so we've met a lot of expats through that. And here, there's more Canadians than Americans. It's primarily Canadians. Although, you know, even in this complex, there's 12 units, and there's 3 in a row here that are Americans. So they're here. There's just not very many. They're mostly Canadians, but everybody. I mean, it is a small community. We run, you know, you run into people, you know, at the grocery store and.
We often asked why there was so many Canadians versus Americans. And so we have a very good friend that he built a condo here called Marina Park. And so he's a pretty good friend of ours and he's from Canada. And he says what he did was he came here and he bought property Then he went back to Canada. He sold 60 condos before he even broke ground. And he's done that like 4 times. Done that like 4 times now. So he gets his money invested, so he builds it, and then people move down here. So there was yeah. So the infrastructure from other countries was mostly Canadians.
And the airfare, American only flies here 2 days a week. So I say American. The only U.S. airlines is American, and they fly 2 days a week. The rest of the time it's Canadian or Air Mexico. So it's easier for Canadians to get here on a daily basis.
I was going to say, I think I read somewhere that there are easier flights to Huatulco from Canada than from other parts of the U.S., for example.
Yeah.
Right.
So it maybe seems like it got designed that way. I don't know, like. So actually, I wanted to ask you guys: Are you guys residents? Do you have a residency in Mexico?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We just got a residency right before Christmas. We flew to Austin. We flew back to Dallas and drove to Austin and went to the consulate there. And Paul was able to get permanent, and I got temporary. But apparently, in another year, I can actually upgrade mine to permanent. Kind of piggybacking on his. But yes, we have our residencies.
So from beginning to end, would you mind sharing what that process was like? Like from the very beginning of like you gathering your documents to actually getting your card?
It was pretty easy. We had started the process for Panama, and this is way easier than Panama. We had to show income. You had to have a certain amount of income, either in the bank or a monthly. In my case, it was a teacher retirement for life, an income for life, such as Social Security or something like that. So we had to have paperwork showing that. We had to have copies of our bank statements, copies of his investment statements for a year. We had copies of our passport. It was pretty easy. I mean, that's about it. Yeah. So we took that stuff to Austin, and they verified it and took our picture and put a little sticker in our passports. And we came back here, and the following weekend we had an appointment with the immigration office here, and they verified stuff again, took our picture, gave us a little card, and we walked away. Now,
and this was during COVID?
Yes. Yeah, this was in December.
Yeah, it was just, not even a month ago.
But then yesterday, a man showed up at the door from immigration. He came to verify that we really do live here.
Really?
Yeah, he apparently it's some new process that he came in, he took pictures of our home, he took pictures of our cards again, asked us some more questions.
So one thing they're very strict on is, like, if we decided, we're just renting here. If we decided next month to move away and move someplace else in the same town, we have to let immigration just know within 7 days that we moved, because they'll come by and verify that's where you live at, and they'll take pictures of your home and pictures of you in your home, so on and so forth. So,
but they were super nice.
They were super nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were professional. In other words, they weren't.
We've not had a negative experience here. It's all been. People here are so sweet, so friendly, helpful.
Okay.
No negative experience at all.
Would you mind sharing if you guys hired an immigration attorney, or did you do it all by yourself?
We did. We didn't hire. She's not really an attorney, but we hired an advisor.
Okay.
And that way, she made sure we knew what paperwork we had to have. She went and got all the copies and stuff, and then she actually made sure we went to the right building, because it's nothing for them to pick up and move from one day to the next.
Yeah.
And so, she was just an advisor, and it wasn't very expensive at all.
Yeah. She went with us to show us where to go, and they didn't speak English, so
help you translate some things too
for us, and very helpful.
That's great. Now, without the advisor, do you remember what your immigration costs were?
I think it was $40.
Yeah, I know it's very cheap.
$40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what the visa process is like, I actually have this at my website, and I'll include a link to that in the comments in a little bit. But I have a detailed process of what the residency visa process is like, and I'll go ahead and link over to that website in a minute. But thank you so much for sharing your experience, because I know.
The other thing I would advise is you have to realize that when you go and look at all the rules and stuff, it seems like every time we read the rules, it says how much your income has to be for Canada. Okay, then you have to translate that to U.S. But then when it comes down to it, when you go to the immigrations in the States, it depends on what the currency rate is for that day. Because it was actually 61,000 pesos or whatever it was. So even though we thought that we was at one spot, we were a little bit not quite there, because on that day the dollar dropped or the peso dropped. So you have to be careful if you're close to the border. Yeah, it changes.
Yeah, from what the guy in Austin had sent me, my teacher retirement was enough for permanent. But then when we got there, he said I was $60 short because of the currency exchange for that day. So yeah,
right.
Is
that why you qualified for permanent, Paul, and Sue didn't? Like, is that the discrepancy?
My permanent was because I've had a certain dollar amount in a retirement program for more than 12 months. I had to prove I was there for 12 consecutive months. And then hers was a certain dollar amount for life, what she draws every month for life. And hers was like $60 short to get a permanent, but getting temporary was absolutely no problem at all. And like I say, that even if her income never changed, which it will, because we'll start drawing Social Security, but if it never changed, after you do it for 4 years, then you automatically qualify for a permanent.
Okay, yeah. But you say, like Sue, you're mentioning that next year you're going to be able to change your residency from temporary to permanent.
Right. Because I'm married to him, who has the permanent, I'll be able to change mine.
Got it. If you guys weren't married, then you would have to wait the 4 years.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in kind of a same, like, because you shared the process for your visa process and what the costs were associated with that, would you mind telling us a little bit about what your monthly expenses are now that you live in Mexico?
Sure. We before we ever retired, we set ourselves up on a budget. That's what actually made us decide that we could retire, is we had a budget. And so, where we live at, you can look behind us and you can see the beautiful view. We have an ocean view. You can't see the other side here, but we have a jungle on one side of us. And every morning I'm out here taking pictures of beautiful birds and the squirrels. And anyway, so we're in a very nice area. And our rent is like $1,100 a month.
US.
And how many bedrooms do you have?
Three.
Three bath.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
three bedrooms, 3 baths.
It's a bigger house.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then so the cost of living here is we have other friends that, they live with their rent, their utilities, their food, everything. They're living for less than $1,000 a month, because they don't have the ocean view, but they have nice apartments down in town, and they pay $300-400 a month for rent. So it's easy to live here with a low.
Yeah.
But
well, and because of where we live, we're on a hill. We have good ventilation. You can open the windows on 2 sides of the building, so you get good cross draft. And we've never used our air conditioner here.
Really?
So that saves. Our electricity bill, I think, was $20 or something like that. So that keeps it down too. If you live in town and you don't have that kind of
the cross
ventilation, then, you know, you may have to use an air conditioner. So it's, you know, depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, $1,100 for a 3-bedroom with an ocean view is still a bargain compared to anything that you would get in the US for that amount.
Right.
Well, some friends of ours just rented a house, not an ocean view. It's a standalone home with a pool, with its own pool, and it's $700 a month. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So, you know, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
They
that
just
is a
don't
good
have,
deal.
yeah,
They just don't have the same view.
yeah.
Right.
That was our choice. It was like we wanted an ocean view. You know, it didn't care if it was smaller or, you know, not quite as nice, but we definitely wanted an ocean view.
It was like the purpose of you moving to Huatulco was so that you could live by the beach. So you wanted to see it every day. Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense. What about groceries and things like that? Like, tell me a little bit about what you would normally spend on a monthly basis.
I don't really know because we don't cook very much. We
Oh,
eat
really?
out.
Okay.
It's so cheap
Yeah.
that we eat out. I mean, we eat breakfast at home, but beyond that, we don't buy a lot of groceries.
That's so cool.
It's
That
too
would be
easy.
my husband's dream.
It's too easy just to, you know, walk down the street and get something, or, you know, we have certain restaurants that we've learned that we are ideal for us, so we can call them and they'll bring food to us. And there's a lot of delivery service here, so it's just too easy just to not cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good food too, not like, you know, fast food,
Very good.
like good food. Yeah. Freshly made good food.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you guys do for fun.
Oh, we've gone snorkeling many times. It's real cheap to hire a boat, to just a little pangas to take you out snorkeling up and down the bay. There's 9 bays and 36 beaches, and a lot of that's only accessible from a boat. So it's easy and cheap to hire a boat to take you out for the day snorkeling. We've been deep sea fishing. There's a town about an hour and a half north of us called Pluma Hidalgo in the mountains. It's a little coffee area that we've gone to. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place up in the mountains. We walk a lot, just exploring, finding parts of the city we haven't seen before.
We also do meetups every week. So we'll schedule like every Wednesday, we have a beach we go to, and there's several other people that are on our Facebook page. They'll come and meet us there at the beach, and we just hang out for the day. And we have a waiter come right on the beach and brings us drinks and food, a lifeguard that, you know, he'll go out and spear fish for you if you want fresh fish. And
we have a Facebook page called Bajías de Huatulco Expats. And so we have a meetup once a week. Anybody that's new in town or, you know, wants to meet other expats, come and join us at the beach.
Did you guys end up buying a car, or are you guys mostly on foot?
We did.
Okay.
we were on foot for almost 4 months, and then we broke down and bought a car, and was easy. They're not used car lots here. You can't find a used car lot in Huatulco anyplace. So luckily, a friend of mine, he had bought a car about a year ago, and he gave me a person's name, and we use WhatsApp here a lot. Okay, so I WhatsApped the guy and told him what I was looking for, and he says, "Okay, I'll be there on Monday, so I'm gonna bring 2 cars, and you can pick one of them, and we'll do all the paperwork." And it was that simple. He brought it. It's a 6-hour drive. He brought it here, and then he did all the paperwork. And because at that time we didn't have our residency cards yet, so there was some problems of being able to register it and stuff. So he took care of buying my insurance, registration, everything, and I just paid him for it. And it's so simple.
Interesting.
You
So
could,
it's almost like he was he was your facilitator. Like he basically did the whole process for you.
yes,
Right. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. But it was a very good experience. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't know that I could go any place in the United States and buy a car and somebody at the car dealership pay for my insurance and stuff and
Yeah.
say, oh, yeah,
Get it all registered for you.
Yeah.
You never even had to step foot in an office, in other words.
No, we haven't.
That's great. Do you guys have driver's licenses?
We have our U.S. license right now. We don't have to have a Mexican driver license for a year, but it's pretty simple. They're pretty simple to get. Now that we have our residency card, it's pretty simple to get.
Awesome.
Yeah, we intend to do that. We just haven't done it yet.
Sure. Yeah. You just have a grace period that you're taking advantage of.
Right.
So any like words of advice for anybody who is thinking about moving to Mexico, what you might do differently?
I've seen people come here and rent sight unseen, and then when they get here, it's not at all what they thought it was going to be. So my best advice is do your own research. Go whatever town you choose, go there, spend some time there, see what it's like first, because there's some people who have come here and then it's like, well, it's hot. Well, we're at the beach, so yeah, it's going to be a little hot. You need to spend time, go into the places, see what you're going to see to know if that's what you really want. We were lucky.
The way we did it, we came down and stayed in an Airbnb for 10 days. And during that 10 days, we found us a place to live. And then, we saw it ourselves. We didn't have to have somebody take pictures. And we you hear the stories, but we have seen it where people say, somebody will say, here's the apartment, here's the furniture and stuff. And then when you move here from anywhere and you walk in the door and the furniture is not what was in the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And it's across the street from a bar.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing here is plan on coming down and spending a few days. And once you're here, it's not hard to try to, and a lot of people worry about, I don't want to get there and not have a place. Well, it's not that hard to get a place. It's like the people we just told you about a minute ago that got a house for today. They're moving today. They looked at the house 2 days ago, and now they have the keys to it, and they're moving in today. So it's not that big of a deal.
They need to have like an application form go through a process of like, I'm thinking of like Texas's laws and.
Right.
And the best way is networking. Talk to people, find people on Facebook and talk to people. If somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who has an apartment for rent, and that's the way we found both the places, just talking to people and somebody who knew somebody, there are real estate agencies, but they're more expensive. Because you're paying somebody else to be the broker. And if you can find the owner and go directly that way, that's the best way to do it.
Another thing you gotta be real careful of is there's some people out there that they'll say they can find you a place to live, and they'll have it ready for you when you get here. And then when you get here, they expect to be paid for what they did, and they don't tell you that at a time. It's just a shock when you get here, and that's happened to a couple of our friends that are here, and it's hard to pick out which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones. But the best thing I can say is if you're on a Facebook page and you get to know the people, and just ask them a lot of questions, and don't depend on them to find you a place to live. Do it yourself when you get here.
Yeah, talk a lot to people that you meet and ask them if they know of any rentals, and then try to speak to the owner directly instead of speaking to a real estate agent.
Exactly.
Right. And sometimes it's talking to your waiter. Just if you're in a restaurant and you strike up a conversation with a guy, then ask him, hey, do you know of any places for rent? And everybody's got something going on the side, so everybody knows something.
Well, one of our favorite sayings here is everybody has a guy. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to go fishing, everybody and your brother got a guy. You want to go to a new restaurant, everybody's got a guy. So, and it's all good because you get a lot of different feedback from because they don't want to send you someplace bad. Your waiter doesn't want to send you someplace to go fishing is bad because you won't come back to his restaurant again. So,
absolutely. Yeah, they mean it.
Well, and
they truly mean it when they say I have a guy and they're trying to send you to somebody who's gonna do everything good for you.
The economy here has really suffered because of COVID, because this is based on tourism, and the cruise ships haven't come for almost a year now. So the economy's hurting here. So everybody's got 4 or 5 jobs trying to make ends meet. So, use the local people and pay them, tip them. I read somebody on Facebook put, what's the best thing I could bring to give away in Mexico? They said, bring your money, your money and spend your money. That's the best thing to help the people here that are suffering.
That's really good advice. Yeah, reinvest it into the economy, especially if you are having a good time and you really enjoy that place. Keep it alive.
That's right.
And if you wanted to get involved in some of the local stuff, there's groups here that like they go up into the mountains and build schools for the kids, for the children in the mountains, or they're working on a project right now of putting internet towers in so the schools will have internet. There's lots of animal rescue programs, or not saying you have to rescue the animal, but it's that you work with the vets doing spade and neuters, and there's lots of things you can get involved in.
If you have the extra time, maybe it's not necessarily giving money, but rather spending your time.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you don't have the extra funds to donate money.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's all been a good experience for us.
That's great. That's really good. It sounds like it. I mean, you've mentioned, having a higher quality of life through food, through more exercise. It sounds like you really enjoy where you live, your community. Those are all the things that I think are very complete for somebody to have a very fulfilling life.
And we've had no problem finding, new friends. Expats kind of tend to stick together. So, it was no problem at all finding people to hang out with and do things with. So that's been easy.
I know some people are probably, I'm sorry, Paul.
No, go ahead.
I know some people are probably wondering if you feel safe, because I know the theme of safety always comes up when Mexico is mentioned.
That's a good thing. I started to say something about Oaxaca when you somebody said something about safety. There are parts of the country, just like in the United States, there's parts of Dallas I wouldn't go to after dark. There's parts of Dallas I wouldn't go to during the daytime, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing in Mexico, but here in Huatulco, there is no place that I've been, and I've been in the middle of the night walking down the street and never have felt uncomfortable. It's just, everybody here watches out for everybody.
When we know a lot of single women, single retired women here that they've been here for a long time and they've had no problems. They walk by themselves all over town, even at night, and there have been no problems at all. None.
That's great. That's especially good to hear as a single woman. If you're watching this, is it possible for you to move to Mexico by yourself and feel safe at night?
There's a lot more single women live here than there are single men that live here.
There you go, man. If you're looking for somebody to maybe hook up with, maybe Huatulco's it.
For a long time, it was like we'd go to a meetup and I'd be the only guy there. And I finally got some friends from Texas came, and I said, man, please hurry up and get here. I need some protection here. So
so you don't feel so outnumbered.
Right. And the other thing is I know Sue told you a while ago about her Facebook page. And that Facebook page, we set that up solely for people asking questions on and see what's going on. Like the people, we don't have a lot of advertising stuff. We do have some certain people that we've given permission to advertise on our sites, but they advertise what their special meal is for that week, or and then some of the fishing guys will post a couple of things. But the majority of it is just the other expats here, and they'll put out there, oh, I had a problem with a cab driver here, or this was a great place to eat, and so on and so forth. So,
or if you have a question like, where do you go to get eyeglasses, or what about a doctor? Does anybody know a good doctor, and that sort of thing. So that's what we use it for, is to find out what other people are doing. Where do you find this? Where do you find that?
Yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah, like last week, we found a little restaurant, and it's just a chicken place. It's a chicken place. And for 180 pesos, which is $9, you get two whole chickons
cooked.
It's
Kentucky. They called it Kentucky Fried.
Yeah, they have Kentucky Fried Chicken. They also have barbecued. It's like I say, it's a whole chicken, macaroni salad, rice, tortillas. For $9.
Yeah.
And you can eat on that for 3 days.
Yeah, it's meant for a family. Yeah.
And we put it on the Facebook page, and everybody and their brother says, "Oh, give me directions on how to get there." Blah, blah, blah. It turns out to be a big thing that everybody wants to go try it. So it's all good. So anybody that has questions, please put questions on. Join the Facebook page and ask all the questions you want. We're here to share the happiness and the pleasure we have here. So
I've included how to spell your Facebook page on the comments. So if anybody's wondering, I've included it in the comments down below. I've also included a link to the Expat Relocation Guide website in case you're wondering what the residency visa process is, or other information on how to move to Mexico. But I've definitely check out Bahías de Huatulco Facebook page and go follow Sue and Paul and share your experiences or your questions if you're interested in living in that area.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to share.
I can't think of anything.
I can't thank you enough for your time. It sounds like the beach is calling your name. I would definitely be on the beach after this. And I hope you take advantage of it. For those of you who are just now catching this, or maybe watching the very end of this, make sure to watch the replay and make sure to visit expatrelocationguide.com. And if you are an expat who lives anywhere in Mexico and would love to share your experience of what it's like to live there, I would love to do a live stream with you. So please send me a private message and let me know if you're interested, and we will set that up. And Sue and Paul, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you get a chance to see all the comments that we got down below and people really thanking you for the great advice that you're giving.
Good.
Thank you.
We're going to look at it as soon as we get off of here.
All righty.
And say hello to your mother-in-law.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll say hi to Jackie.
Okay. Thank you
so much. I hope to visit you guys one day.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.